Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr, villain par excellence. He's right.
Bill O'Reilly is a big history buff, and he's got the paper to prove it. His collection of memorabilia includes letters from Thomas Jefferson.
And it defines Jefferson's view of Christianity. But this is the only letter that I've ever seen that deals with Jefferson and the spiritual, because he is considered a very secular person.
Paul Revere.
This is a letter written by Paul Revere talking about him making canon for the USS Constitution.
And Benjamin Franklin.
This is my oldest piece, 1743. He's a printer. Franklin got a lot of people in trouble because he's running around with all the ladies in London and Paris.
Quite a collection, but he can easily afford it. After all, Bill O'Reilly is indisputably the biggest name in cable news.
Caution, you are about to enter the no-spin zone.
Every weeknight, he assumes his perch as host of Fox News' O'Reilly Factor, a show that he and he alone scripts.
You cannot contain evil.
I've never had writer's block. I never took a writing class.
But that's a rare thing for the words to come out that freely. I mean, a lot of talented people, it just gets stuck in there.
Not for the Irish. Have you been to Ireland? The words come out and out and out. So I have that blarney, I have that gift, and I use it.
It is long past time for all Americans to understand that ISIS is not going to stop killing innocent people. And
that gift has kept O'Reilly on top of the ratings for 16 years. But current events aren't his only worry.
Your concern about young people's knowledge of history, is it at yellow, orange, red alert? Where is it?
It's a red alert. Those of us who were brought up in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, we were taught that a country is valuable and you respect your country. Now you don't even talk about your country. It's not even in, it's not even in this public schooling hardly anymore.
O'Reilly should know. After graduating from Marist College in 1971, he took a job teaching history to high schoolers.
And what I did was I managed to get them interested in history when they couldn't care less about it before they got in my class, by making the people real, by saying, hey, George Washington, he wasn't some old doddering guy looking at you from the $1 bill. This guy would beat the living daylights out of you if you got out of line. Boom, the heads go up.
Look, Mr. Revere.
Lay into him, boys.
He takes that same approach in his Legends and Lies TV docudrama, emphasis on the drama and its companion book.
I hereby propose that this Congress adopt this Army and appoint as its commander Colonel George Washington of Virginia.
We give you the story, but we give it to you with a heavy dose of personal and emotional flow.
History told with what he calls a novelistic flair has worked out very well for O'Reilly. His last 5 books, co-authored with Martin Dugard, have all, well, made a killing.
Okay, so killing Kennedy, killing Lincoln, killing Reagan, killing Patton, killing of the rising sun coming soon. When will the killing stop?
We have 3 more to deliver. All very controversial.
Which are they?
I can't say, because if I do, then somebody else writes the book ahead of me.
Readers can't seem to get enough of the series, but
if you look at all the reviews for all of my books, they're the worst books on the face of the earth. Very rarely does anybody say anything good about my books.
Why do you think that is?
Because of me, because I wrote them.
Do you think that's jealousy?
No, they don't like me. I'm a cocky. Who is this punk O'Reilly writing about history and outselling everybody in the world? Does he have a PhD?
But it's not just reviewers who have had problems with his books. In Killing Reagan, O'Reilly claimed that the 1981 assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan may have led to a steady mental decline that worried senior aides enough to evaluate his very competency.
And so you stand by the assertion that he was, what, nearly removed from office under the 25th Amendment?
They were looking at him, all right, to see if further action had to be taken. And there was this meeting, and he was given policy questions, and he rose to the occasion and allayed everybody's fears.
But the book drew a sharp rebuke from O'Reilly's Fox News colleague, George Will.
Michael Deaver, do you know Michael Deaver? Oh, what are you laughing at, Will?
Their on-air exchange was not a friendly one.
And you are a hack.
The way you called George Will a hack, like it was like hack, like you really, that H just, I mean, you really dug in on it. How did you feel about that confrontation?
It was an honest confrontation.
You want LA Times, you want New York Times quotes on it? I got them. I can read them to you.
He didn't have anything. He had nothing. I destroyed him.
It's that kind of passion, or bluster, depending on your viewpoint, that's made the 66-year-old O'Reilly stand out for so long.
I've been doing this 20 years. I don't care what you think about me. I couldn't care less what anybody thinks about me.
You've said, I never really had that gene about wanting to be liked. I don't believe that.
Well, because you want to be liked.
Well, that's
I mean,
true.
you're failing in that regard, but you want to be liked.
We are both on TV.
It doesn't matter. I don't go home saying how many people like me tonight. We have an enormous audience, okay?
Yeah.
I believe that if they watch me, 90% of them respect me. That's what makes me happy.
That tell-it-like-it-is style may remind you of another big personality who's a frequent guest of O'Reilly's.
And, you know, if I listened to you, in all fairness, a few months ago, I was going to get nothing with Hispanic.
I'm saying
but I'm up
is
to
you
like
have to-
33%.
Would you consider him a friend?
You know, I would, I guess. I've known him a long time, and we go to ball games, and we have some fun, but I'm not hanging with him.
Do you regret calling her Pocahontas? Do you regret that?
I do regret calling her Pocahontas because I think it's a tremendous insult to Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, right.
So,
He is a guy who has billions of dollars, and if you have billions of dollars, you can say what you want, all right? So ever since he's been 2 years old, Donald Trump has pretty much said anything he wanted to say.
But that sounds like you're describing in part a spoiled brat.
Not spoiled. He's got the resources where he can say anything he wants to say. Kennedy was the same way. John Kennedy did whatever he wanted to do and said whatever he wanted to say. Did he not?
What is the thing that Donald Trump has said that's made you cringe, that's made you wince?
I didn't like the John McCain stuff.
he's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
John McCain's a hero. He suffered greatly for his country.
What's something that Hillary Clinton has said that's made you wince?
I don't like her calling people misogynists and racists.
I am not sympathetic to the xenophobia, the misogyny, the homophobia, the Islamophobia, sort of dog whistles that Trump uses.
I think it's disingenuous. I don't think she knows the people, and I just think it's cheap.
Over time, Bill O'Reilly says his take on all politicians has changed.
Do something. See, Americans just want you to try.
I become more cynical as I get older because I know the players in Washington, and I know their motivations, and I don't like it.
Well, I think you probably thought they were selfish from the beginning.
I didn't. I came up in the Vietnam era when the SDS and America was bad and LBJ, how many kids you killed today and all of that. I never really bought that. But I always felt that most of our elected officials had the folks in their sights, wanted to do the right thing. I no longer feel that.
If the founding fathers were here today, what do you think they'd be impressed by?
I think they'd be impressed by the fact that so many Americans do so well. What they set up works. If you work hard, if you're honest, and if you persevere, you'll get a break. I think they'd be impressed that that still holds today.